Hi, I'm Bebe.
And I'm Stephen.
And we are
Just Another Knitting Podcast.
Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. This is our little corner of the universe where we talk about our knitting. We've got a big show planned. We've got lots of things to talk about, so we'll just crack right into it.
Yep, no point wasting any time.
So first things first, we got in touch with the winners of we were celebrating our 1000th show, and we had two winners, and we've sent the yarn off to them. So that was for Bunny, who is in the USA, and Lisa, who is local in New Zealand. And so we've sent yarn off to each of them, and it would be really good, guys, if you once you get it, to think about what you might knit and report back, so we can report back to everybody what actually happened to our lovely yarn.
Yeah, or maybe if there's a finished project, send us a photo and we can put it on display.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yes.
And another thing. So last episode, we filmed. We were filming during the week. It's Sunday at the moment. We usually film on a Sunday, but we'd been away and we had come back. And what we did not know when we were filming that episode was that Stephen actually had COVID. At some point, he commented during the episode, "It feels really hot in here," and it was like warm, but it wasn't hot. It wasn't hot, and Stephen was feeling a little unwell when we started filming, and I said, we don't have to if you're not well. And he's like, nah, suffer for the art, you know.
Yeah. Got to get we've got to keep our regular episodes going.
Got to get the podcast done.
Yes.
So we got it in the can, and then he was feeling very unwell.
Yeah, so 15 minutes after we finished shooting,
he was like, I'm going to bed, and then it was like, maybe do a COVID test first just to be sure.
Yeah, reddest line I've ever seen.
Yeah, and so immediately Stephen went into sad isolation by himself, and I kind of ran the household while he spent the week in bed.
It did make for a productive few days.
Yeah, so you will notice the difference between my productivity over that time and Stephen's.
Yes.
As we go through our FOs and whips, but
yeah, so it's also not the only time that I've been a bit under the weather on an episode. So
yeah, a couple of episodes back. It would have been about 4 now.
Well, yeah, see if you can spot it. But there was one episode that we actually filmed while I had a kidney stone. So.
Yeah, Stephen was like lying on the ground, kind of moaning and pain, and I'm like, come on, we've got to get this episode done, because I didn't have any sympathy for him. So he kind of pulled himself together, did the episode, and then I think he passed the stone that night.
Yeah, it was later on, but it was there was a brief window there where it was not too bad, so I was lucky.
So Stephen just wants everyone to know that he is a trooper.
Dedicated.
And is prepared to do whatever it takes to get this episode out to you. But we are both in good health this week.
Yeah.
Feeling much better.
Yeah.
And I did not get COVID. I've had I'm up to date with my vaccinations, and we were very careful about isolating. So we didn't spread it to anyone else. That's the main thing.
No, yeah, that was good.
Keep it to ourselves. All right, into the show.
Yes.
So, start with what we're wearing. What are you wearing?
Yep, I'm just wearing a good old regular. So this is Rift by Jared Flood. It's knit in Rebel worsted.
And it's this is my favourite. I guess it's not a colour, but just the yarn feels so different in the natural. Like this is the natural
Origin.
undyed.
Yeah, Origin.
Called Origin. And it just feels so lovely and soft, and it's like soft and fluffy without being fluffy and pilly. Like it's a really good yarn. So good.
Yeah, I haven't knit enough in it, but
maybe, well, we've got tons of it, so we could definitely
maybe one day, get back to it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I've got on. I won't go into it in any more detail, really.
This is the one you knitted, eh?
Yeah, I knit this,
and I knit a red one in it.
Yeah, a couple of episodes.
So this is the bigger sized one, and mine's a bit smaller.
That's right. Yeah, Bebe's was Rift Red. This is Rift Origin. So part of my wardrobe, and it comes out quite regularly. Yep. What about you, Bebe?
I am wearing the Bibliophile by Alicia Plummer. So this was a knit along we did with Get Flocked Can't remember what the knit along was for, but yeah, I kind of power knitted this over the course of about 4 or 5 days, one weekend. And this is knit in, it's a 4-ply pattern, 4mm needles, 24 stitch gauge, and this is knit in the Wild Earth yarn Aspen, not
right.
Ashley, Aspen, which is the woolen spun yarn. I absolutely love this yarn. This is the same thing that Blasipa is knit in.
Is that the one on the dark base or not? It's not on a dark base.
No.
Is it? Okay.
No, this is the colourway is Willow.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really nice kind of yellowy green, and it's not a colour that I normally wear or knit with, and I just, I was trying to get out of my kind of colour slump, and so I knit this, and I get so many compliments every time I wear it with this colour.
Totally, it looks good on you. It's a good colour.
And it's like a slouchy oversized, but it's really nice on the weekends. It's nice and light. It's very lightweight, being woolen spun yarn. And the reason I chose it and the reason I wanted to knit it is that it has a compound raglan construction, and I wanted to figure out what that was all about. I'd heard of it, and I've knit a couple of other ones since then because I really like it. And what it means is that the raglan comes out on quite an angle, because the reason it's called a compound raglan is because you start doing increasing on both sides of the raglan, so on the sleeve side and the body side, and then at some point you stop doing sleeve increasing and you do rapid increasing on the body side to get that sharp angle, which means that you get a nice wide arm without it being too deep, because if you did it both it would end up like down here. And so it's just a nice, it gives you a nice loose fitting garment around your body without it being too,
so it kind of keeps the shoulders in check.
Yeah, it keeps that whole arm side and it's still looking okay, so it doesn't look too oversized, because in my opinion, like the shoulder and the upper arm, if they look like they fit, you can have quite a oversized body and it still looks good.
Yeah, those compound raglans are quite an interesting idea in terms of if you're modifying patterns and things. From you take a standard raglan, if you know where you're proportioned larger, like
yeah, this is good if you're large chested, for example, because it has lots of extra room. I am not, but I like having the extra room just to fit the rest of my body in there. I just wanted something that was kind of baggy and oversized and a good kind of sweatshirty weekend.
Yep, nice slouchy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And it definitely fits the bill there. I wear it all the time, just as, just throw it on. It's nice and cozy.
That's great. So,
right.
Moving on.
Yes. Short story long.
Right. Finished objects. Yes. Wow.
You start. Guys, exciting. You would not believe it.
Yeah, you would not believe it. I did actually, while I was in isolation, finished several eagle feathers this time. I know, right? So, now, you've probably all seen these unless you're new. So, what I will show you this time, I'm up to 12 eagle feathers now, out of my initial 20 that I've got to complete. But what I thought I'd do is I'll show you them stacked so you can get an idea of what they look like with regards to the Channel Island cast on. So it has a two color cast on, and I've got I think I've got 3 different colours going on here. So you can kind of see the variation in the edges.
And a brown, and what's the other colour?
Yeah, Pebble Beach, it's like a grey.
Oh, yeah, like a grey.
Yeah, so, we've all seen the feather. This is what the feather looks like. These, they all look roughly the same. Bit of an exercise in feather gauge swatching. But yeah, stacking them up, it kind of produces a nice palette of sort of soft colour. And obviously once these all get splayed out and then layered, it should provide a similar sort of effect, but in the round. So.
And have you woven in some of the ends?
I did. I wove the middle parts of the middle end, which was up here. I've woven them all in just to neaten things up. As I think I said last time, there's something in the pattern around what to do with these ends, which I haven't got to yet, so I'm just leaving them for the time being.
Awesome. It's such a good little thing to be able to do, just if you've got half an hour here or there just to whip one up.
It is. It's very popcorny. So, you know, as I have a break on something that I've been doing, I'll just quickly cast one of these on. Yeah, it takes me about an hour maybe to do. I mean, there's a wee bit of knitting in there, but I've got it memorised now, so I don't have to refer to the pattern. So it helps.
It's the same category my crochet piggy squares fit into. It's like just having a little something on the go, and I usually have a blanket on the go for that same reason.
Yeah. So yeah, eagle feathers. Now, strangely enough, I have another finished object. I know. Oh
my god! I should say outright that I have none. I have no finished objects. I've been very productive, but I have not managed to finish anything. So I will be showing you some whips.
Yeah. And this finished object is, so don't get too excited, it's not something that you've seen before. It's a new cast on.
That is exciting.
Yeah, it is, but it's like, ooh, he's finished Sheshader, or ooh, he's finished Redford.
All right, neither of those are done.
No.
Let's not get too carried away.
I do have some significant updates on those coming up, but not them. Finished objects.
We like to take our time. We're not going to... anyway, yep.
Okay, so we'll make it show and tell, not tell and show.
Yeah.
So this is my finished object. It's fully complete. It is called the Hūpēnui Beanie, and it's by James Herbison, and it's a beanie for a yarn festival that we are heading to in a month or so. Which is the Wairarapa Wool Weekend, obviously in the Wairarapa, but it's held in Greytown. So yeah, it's a little bit like the Shetland Wool Week in terms of they've created a beanie package, and you know, all the people going will knit one. They're going to take a photo with everybody wearing their hats, torus or whatever they call.
Tory. It's called a Tory in the Shetlands, yeah.
That's the one. I didn't knit it with the standard colourway patterns. What I actually did was I dove into my stash, and I have a few balls of the spare Alice Starmore's 2-ply Hebrideans, so I thought the colourways on that looked pretty good together, so that's, you know, what I've done. I've mixed and matched 4 colours. We've got Selkie as the blue, we've got Kittiwake as a pale blue, and Solon Goose is white, and then the grey colour is Pebble Beach. So that's the 4 balls. I've got them here. What's left? There they go. So I did play a little bit of Yarn Chicken. Yeah, I wouldn't look too closely at the inside of that. It's not as neat as it could have been.
It's fine.
It's good, but it's not
really good.
The top's really good. I actually experimented a little bit on the crown with using DPNs part of the way up. Then I got sick of them, so I went back to magic loops.
Oh my goodness, you're
but
so
you know,
chaotic.
I have
the crown is definitely the best part.
It's very interesting,
it's so cool, and I really like that it's like a flat top. I'll put it on so you can see.
Yeah, it's quite flat on the top. The Hebridean yarn's kind of good actually too, because I was reading up on it, and it's pre-washed, so you don't need to block it. You just need to give it a bit of a steam, which is good. What I just actually did. So I've just steam blocked it.
It's very warm.
It's very warm in here anyway. But yeah, so this one's been knit to fit me. I think someone else might have one in the works, but yeah, it's I never wear a hat well, so you know. Let's be honest, I look like a burglar most of the time.
In a flowery hat, sure.
Yeah, so anyway, that's what it looks like. It's not huge. It's quite snug, but...
yeah, it's gorgeous.
Here we go.
Yay! So
a finished object. That took me, 3 days?
Yeah.
So...
yeah, he's been very focused on it, I have to say.
Yeah, I wanted to get it done. Now, what else do we need to say about this? Anything?
So we want to talk a little bit about Wairarapa Wool Weekend. So
yes.
we heard about this, actually. We heard about this from Gudrun when we were in Rhinebeck.
That's right.
I had a bit of a chat to her and said, you know, I'm from New Zealand, you should come to New Zealand. And she said, well, actually, I have been invited to come to New Zealand. And she mentioned that she was going to, she'd been invited to Greytown to do weekend and a workshop. And so I've been patiently waiting for that information to become publicly available. And I actually got in touch with James, who is organising it. James Herbison, who runs Joy of Yarn in Greytown. I guess he owns it. And asked him, when is more information coming about this? And then the website went live like the next week, I think.
It was like last Tuesday, I think it was.
Yeah, so after we filmed our last episode, that's when I kind of got in touch and was like, what's happening? Find it. And I think the website had just gone live. And so we didn't talk about it last time, but then I ordered the kit and all of that stuff, which I'll show you in a sec. So we're going to go. We got one of the few tickets to Gudrun's day-long masterclass workshop on the Thursday. So excited to spend a whole day with Gudrun learning about how to knit and do colour work and maybe some Shetland knitting tips. I don't know. I mean,
we'll find out.
Yeah, we will find out. We'll do what we always do. I'll bring every needle I've ever owned and lots of yarn, and we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I was really impressed, like looking at the schedule, and we'll put the link to the website in the show notes. That the weekend is kind of set up similar to Shetland Wool Week,
it's
which
got
is
that same vibe.
Yeah, so like there's lots of classes, really good classes too, like a whole range of things, dyeing and how to do colour work, a real Shetland focus, which is really cool, since we just went to Shetland last October for Shetland Wool Week. And what else was I going to say?
The space.
So
there's a community drop-in sort of space.
Like a social space.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights for us at Shetland. Really just the opportunity to sort of sit, have a cup of coffee, do some knitting, and then just everybody would come in from all over the world and sit down, literally, and do some knitting, and you'd talk to them and chat. And
we met some such cool people.
Yeah, it was so much fun. So, really looking forward to see how that pans out in this environment.
And neither of us have been to the Wairarapa before. We've probably both driven through on our way from Wellington to Auckland, but we've never actually stopped and been in this area of the world. So both really looking forward to...
Yeah, it's going to be a good chance to explore.
Yeah, and go to the yarn shops, and Miss Maud's is another shop that's also there. So looking forward to seeing that, and hopefully meeting some of you. So if you're planning on going, if you have purchased registration and you're planning on being there, please do let us know. Get in touch either by email or by commenting on the video, and it would be really good to arrange like a meet up in the social space where we can just hang out and knit and talk about what we're up to. That would be really cool to actually put some faces to some of the names that we see commenting on the show. That would be really fun.
Yep. No, really good. Looking forward to it. And I think James has done a really good job in terms of putting everything together as well.
Amazing. I really hope it does well, because I think it would be something that we'd definitely have on our yearly calendar. Yeah,
I think it's something that really should, be supported, and if it does really well, Gudrun's come a long way, and you secured her. I mean, who knows what other people might come in the future if it
might get
takes
some
off.
Good guests.
It'd be exciting.
Yeah.
All right, so that was it for finished objects for me.
That was pretty exciting, though.
Oh yeah, I actually finished something.
Do you want to do a whip? How about I do a whip?
Yeah.
Because it relates. So
that's probably a good.
I probably should have mentioned this.
Good segue.
So the we purchased the hat pattern. Actually, I only purchased one pattern. We should probably buy another one. Because we both know it. Because this is the pattern that's from Stephen's. So this is what it is. And $1 donated from each pattern sold goes to Wairarapa Hospice, which is a community trust. So I'm happy to give a donation for that. Yeah, and the idea is that you obviously wear the hat on the weekend. Hopefully it'll be cold enough because it'll still be in March. It's sometimes quite warm in March in New Zealand.
Yeah, well, we'll start to be cooling down there.
Yeah, so cute little bag, which I will definitely use.
Yeah.
Little project bag. This is kind of like a really good size for me. This is a good hat or sock knitting bag or baby hat knitting bags, and I just absolutely love it. It's so cute. And I have not got as far on my hat as Stephen has. I've been doing other things, but I did make a start just because I got jealous of what his looked like. And this is the kit. So I actually got a kit from James, and mine's in the Shetland wool. So it's the Spindrift. So this is what it looks like. And we're going to get it up base of the line. There we go. So that's the Shetland Spindrift. It's 100% Shetland yarn. And it says, they call it 2-ply, but it's a 4-ply yarn, but it's 2 plies. Yeah. So that's always confusing, just as usual, you know.
That's how we roll, yeah.
And then these are the 4 colours. I absolutely love them. Like, I wasn't sure about the yellow and the orange when I saw it. I was like, the other 3 colours kind of go really nicely together, and then the orange is such a bright pop that I was like, oh, I don't know how that's going to look all together. But they actually blend so nicely together, holding them up.
You can see it on the rib.
Yeah. So if hang on, you can see it again. Just how well they blend into each other. I think that's just so beautiful. It's very rustic, I must say, though. I don't know. Yeah, like I haven't knit a garment with this 4-ply. I've knit something in the 8-ply, and it felt much more in the DK weight. It felt much less rustic. But then you were saying it's probably just once I block it, it'll soften up.
I'm not sure if that's pre-blocked or pre-washed or anything. So, which could be why the
I don't think it is.
Actually seem softer.
Yeah. Anyway, so I will crack into that. What I was going to talk about, though, I thought it would be good for us to talk about, was I kind of got myself into a bit of confusion about, not confusion, but just kind of changed my mind about what I was doing with the colour dominance.
Yes.
So, and kind of we had been talking about it. Stephen did the flowers motif. So this is what the motif looks like. And it's got flowers on it. And he was doing those, and he was talking about which yarn he was holding. Sorry, I'm just going to pick this yarn up. Which colour he was holding dominant. And then when I came to do mine, I was like, I'm going to change mine up and see what happens. And I didn't particularly like the effect, and so I thought I'd just talk a little bit about that because it's something that I kind of struggle with a little bit. Like some people say, I did a little bit of research on it, and some people say actually that colour dominance isn't really a thing, it does really matter.
I think it does.
Yeah, I think it does too. But it also is kind of confusing because people talk about having the yarn up or down or left or right, but the way I knit, I couldn't quite figure out how that was worked. Like I have one that's, because I knit with one hand.
Yeah, you
I have
swap.
one that's here, and then I have one that's stays down. So I guess that one's
down.
In the back, is it up and down?
Yeah.
Is that how you express it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then so the one that's up is the dominant one.
No, the one that's down is the dominant one.
Yeah. So that will show through more in the pattern.
Yeah, it kind of sits just that little bit higher. So you notice it more, particularly when it's a single stitch. So for those like little
lice,
that was what they're called. Often if you knit them with the wrong dominance, they sink into the background and you lose them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always important, even if you're not holding that particular stitch dominant at the time, if you're going to do one of those little lice, it's always useful just to switch the yarn around so that colour is the dominant one.
So when you did yours, which part of the pattern did you hold dominant?
I hold the pattern colour dominant all of the time.
I don't know what that means.
So the pattern colour is your yellow and your orange.
Right, see, I thought I did the same, but ours look quite different from each other.
Yeah, so the pattern colour is the dominant colour. So I knit my colour work two-handed most of the time, except when I want to take a break, then I'll flick it back. But usually the pattern colour I hold in my left hand. So I knit that one continental.
Yeah, so I can do that, but I prefer not to.
And that's the dominant colour. So I find that the dominant colour is the continental knit.
So doing that.
Yep, and then the background colour is the one that I hold in my right hand and throw English.
So the main colour though?
The main colour, yes. That is the one that I hold in my right hand. And so if I do take a break and I move across and I just switch the yarns, the pattern colour is the one that I just leave lying down the back, and the front or upper yarn is the main colour, which is the one that is not dominant.
So if you talk about main colour and contrast colour, because that's how the patterns usually tell you.
Yeah, so contrast colour is the one that's at the back. So you can think if you're holding it in your left hand and your right hand, the yarn in the left hand sits behind the yarn in the right hand. So if you drop it, it's at the back, and it also is below.
Anywho, so it was just kind of interesting, and I was kind of experimenting with it, but now I'm not sure if I like it. I'm actually just going to ignore it because it's a hat and I don't need to worry about it too much. But I thought it was kind of interesting, and I was thinking about it with the framed sweater and the Frame Your Face from Andrea Mowry, which has it reverses the colours across the pattern, so there's two blocks of colour, and they're mirror images of each other in terms of the colour, the dominant colour. And Andrew Mowry said, oh, don't worry about what yarn you're holding dominant, just leave it the same the whole way through. And I had not done that on my framed sweater, and I thought it looked really good. So I actually changed the colour dominance when the white was the main colour or the red was the main colour. But then when I did the Frame Your Face cowl, I didn't do that. I was lazy. I was just like, oh, I'm going to just do it the same the whole way. Because you've got to really think about what you're doing when you change it. And I didn't think it looked as good, so I thought it was kind of interesting. Anyway, and then when I was kind of having a bit of a scrape around at what was available to understand it better, Brooklyn Tweed has a really good video on it on their website. So I'll put the link in the description box in the show notes. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about how colour dominance works, I think the Brooklyn Tweed video is a good one to have a look at. And I think did you say that Alice Starmore is it her book of
Fair Isle Knitting
has something about that?
Yes, it does. It's a lot of I've just been guided by the Hebridean yarn knitters
Queen
from many decades of many decades. So I've been reading her book on Fair Isle knitting.
I feel like I'm going to need to read that before we go to Wairarapa, so that I know as much as you do.
I do find that there's a lot of techniques in there that it really shines a light on a lot of things. So very clearly, and watching her tutorial videos online, she has free tutorial videos on their on her website.
And, so maybe we could link to those as well.
Yeah, and you can basically it shows you, and I mean she's a vastly experienced knitter, so basically how can you argue with what she says? I mean,
it's only a point of view though.
It is, that's right. So, but it's a point of view that's worked historically. So I'm kind of trying to model what I do in terms of colour work on the techniques that she uses because I really like the output.
Your colour work is like a bazillion times better than mine.
Yeah, so I mean, there's
so nice.
Just these little techniques and things. It's like, and she says, hold the pattern colour in the left hand, and the background or contrast colour in the right hand, and all of those sorts of things. So, I'm just trying to follow that.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting.
It is,
and did a bit of a deep dive on it, which is kind of what slowed me down actually, because I was kind of playing around with the hat. And then looking at all of the stuff. So I'm going to crack into it now. The other thing I was going to say is that my Ailbaratori, which I knit for Shetland, and this one as well, they're quite deep. That if you pass the hat again, and I don't know quite what to do about it. Like I want to knit it to pattern, but also they're quite, like I like my hat to sit nice and firm on my head, and It means that.
Yep.
And the Islesborough Tory is the same on me. And so I actually, on that one, I flip up the brim. This one's better because it doesn't, like my Islesborough Tory, it's like down covering my ears even with the brim flipped up.
You might have some better luck with that one too because that's the large size.
Yeah, but I'm also a looser knitter than you.
Right. That's
so I
true.
think it's going to end up the same size.
Yeah, this came out bang on gauge, so I measured it and it's exactly what the pattern says.
It kind of annoys me because you end up with a little bloop at the top of your head that's it's not nice and firm. I don't know why it does that. Like,
maybe that's what the pom-poms are for, to hide it.
Maybe. Anyway, so I thought I could adjust the pattern and not knit the second row of flowers. But I actually just really want to knit the pattern. And that's what I decided with the Islesborough as well. It's like if you're going to be in a picture with lots of people wearing the same pattern, you want to be wearing the same pattern. So I'll probably just suck it up and
I think so. It's
put up with it being a bit big.
Yeah.
Maybe I've just got a tiny head. I don't know. My daughter's always saying I got
short head.
A tiny pea head. But big brains.
Big brains, yeah.
Yeah.
Other whips?
Anywho.
Moving on.
How about you? We take turnabout.
Sure,
you do it
turnabout.
next.
Okay. Okay, so I'll provide an update on Sheshader. So
Get Sheshader.
I'll get Sheshader. Here we go. Do you want to hold it up? So I've been doing Sheshader.
Oh, okay.
Surprise!
I've been out.
So yes, I steeked Sheshader.
Ta-da!
So I did video this.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm using the traditional feral method of steeking, as in just cut it. Yeah. So there's no reinforcing on this steek at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about it either because I have to knit up the button band. And the button band, the steek itself is 10 stitches wide. Once I've knit up the button band, I actually have to trim the steek again. And then, once everything is done, then I sew down the steek.
So you trim out...
So I've got 2 stitches of leeway before it actually starts getting into the area that is going to be reinforced at the end of the project. So yeah, so it's now fully steeked. I have completed knitting the arms and everything as well, so it's full steam ahead now. The next step is the button band.
Ooh-wee.
So,
and it's worn like this, so the button band's actually at the back.
That's right. And so yeah, I've got 1 and 2 fully complete arms.
And we let them rest because they had COVID.
They did. Yeah, that was COVID knitting as well. So
yeah, very productive couple of days.
I did, yeah. So I'm really happy with that. But I will put the video of the steek at the end of this episode. It's not long enough or exciting enough for it to be its own thing. So if you are interested in just seeing scissors attack yarn, then stay tuned to the end and have a look.
Mm-hmm. Should I do my next one?
Yeah, I probably don't need to say too much more about Sheshader at this stage, but I think we'll be able to show a lot more progress next time.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I get to choose buttons soon.
You do, yeah. I'll be knitting up and picking up and knitting and all sorts of things, and there'll be a button band.
Awesome! I can't wait. It'll be perfect for like autumn time.
Yeah.
To be wearing.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be the right temperature, and then when it gets really cold you can put the eagle collar on.
Ooh, I'm so looking forward to it. Everyone's like, when are you ever going to wear that? And I'm like, I'm going to wear it whenever I want. It's amazing. To work, out after work, to meetings.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It's a good statement piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, did you want to do another whip? Or?
I feel like I'm old enough to be eccentric now.
You can, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we can be eccentric.
Yeah, we're grandparents.
Well, that's the thing.
It
It's
can
like,
be weird now.
Why knit if you just knit boring stuff all the time?
Well, yeah. Speaking of non-boring stuff, so I've been working on my Seaton. This is the Seaton by Marie Wallin. So,
It's a passion project, this one.
oh my god, I hate this project so much. So I finished the steek, that was from last episode, and then I went to start picking up the arm, and the steak fully came apart. It started unravelling. So, yeah, you can see that, I mean, it's not supposed to have those ends like that.
No.
They're supposed to be tucked in, and they came untucked. And then I was worried that they were going to unravel. I mean, maybe they wouldn't have, but I still got worried about it. And so I sewed them down, and now they're very solid. They're not going anywhere. So I have started an arm. I think the least said about this, the better, but I do want to complain just for a little bit about how much I hate knitting this. So I didn't mind too much knitting the whole body.
It's quite a lot larger.
Because of the circumference, I guess. But I find the yarn really, really thick.
Yeah, it does get heavy. I mean, even
It's
just
very heavy.
Even on 2-ply colour work, just doing the hat. Once you get into the crown, it gets very thick and heavy. Just trying to get the stitches.
Trying to get the knitting, getting into a rhythm. I really love colour work. I really love knitting colour work, but just this Aran weight yarn, it's very, very chunky yarn, and it's a 4.5mm needle, and I'm knitting it on shorties. Which I'm not enjoying. I actually switched from short shorties, where I just had a short cable. So I started knitting on short shorties here, and you can actually see the difference in my tension. It kind of cuts in here. So the first piece of colour work I knit on the short shorties, and my tension was much tighter, which I know that that's the case. And so I decided to change it. So what I'm doing is it's not travelling loop, it's my bastardized version of a travelling loop, where I just basically, I pull it out, I have the needles here, and I pull it out here, pull them through, and then I knit from here round to that, and then I just pull it through on the other side. Yeah. And so it's kind of like a combination of travelling loop and
just
magic loop.
Yeah, half a round at a time, basically.
Yeah, and that's working pretty well, actually. So it has gone a lot faster since I started doing that. But I just want it to be over, and I actually, sometimes you get that point with a project, and I know if I just persevere, I'll get through it, and I won't feel this way. But I actually hate this garment now, and I just want to put it in the bin. And most people would just put it in the naughty corner, but because I get whip anxiety and I want to finish things, my options are actually put it in the bin, make it go away completely, or finish it. So, and I'm not going to put it in the bin because I know once I finish it,
you'll have regret. Yep. And
I will wear it.
Yep.
Because it looks, and Stephen has reminded me a couple of times.
It's amazing.
How lovely. He's like, just think how warm you're going to be in winter time.
I know, right? It's like when the snow's up.
This is the purpose of a good husband.
When the snow's up to the middle of the windows. Never.
When we go to Antarctica.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do get cold in winter, and it will be a lovely warm. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to need a jacket wearing this thing. It's bulletproof. But yeah, I just have to persevere. And the other thing I'll say, I did have a bit of anxiety about how thin these sleeves are, because I'm knitting the smallest size. The smallest size is massive. Like, hold it up. It is massive. I'm not a very large person.
Yeah, it's quite boxy.
Width-wise. But the sleeves are actually not that massive. It's not a very big hole there in that arms hole. So, yeah, which is probably good, actually, that the body is really boxy and the sleeves are not.
You have tried it on, though, right? So
yeah, I know it fits my arm. Yeah. You imagine that. Oh. Anyway, so I'm just... I'm working on my other whip, which I'll show in a sec, and then as soon as that's finished, I am going to crack into this, and I'm not going to stop until it's finished. I've got the hat, I've got the other whip, and I've got this, and it's going to be finished. I am determined that for the next show, I won't be wearing it because it'll be too warm, but I will be showing it.
Wonderful. I was going to say, it's been, you've done most of the knitting on that in your knitting room. As in where we're sitting right now.
Yeah.
So I haven't really heard that much in the way of complaining.
Today, honestly, I was feeling so grumpy with it. It probably doesn't help that we stayed up really late last night and then we got up early this morning. And then I sat down going, I really don't want to knit this thing. I'm just going to force myself to. And so I decided I'm going to knit this much, and then when I've done that much, I can stop and knit fun things. And that's what I'm going to have to do just to get through it, I think.
You'll get there in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It's
know
a
I will.
journey.
And it's like 2 hours of knitting on a sleeve. It's not even that much. I'm just a baby.
Okay, so I have another whip, and it's the unmentioned or the unmentionable one.
I know, I keep mentioning it.
You do keep mentioning it.
Redford, you mean Redford?
I mean Redford, yes. It's not finished because it's still
No,
a whip,
it's not finished.
but we've made significant progress.
Yay!
So
We
we'll
love
get around the right way.
Redford.
So the body of Redford is now seamed. So all of the hardest seams are done. So this is what it looks like.
Julie Hoover, the masochist,
Yeah.
made Stephen do
So
2 seams on either side.
So what I'll do is I'll quickly put it on, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Um,
Okay. It's so good.
it's
He had it on earlier and it
it's a
looks
little
so nice.
It's a little snug.
It's not, and it'll block, don't forget.
Yeah. So
It'll give, like, you'll get a few centimetres with
Can I-
blocking.
Can I stop now and call it a vest?
No, because you've already knit the arms, and you knit more than one of them as well.
I do.
I mean, more than 2.
So, yeah. So this is the
It's
is
so
it.
good.
and the side panel. So yeah, it has the
And
2
back.
side panels.
Yeah, because Julie Hoover's a weirdo.
And I
But
do
the
have the arms.
seams look so good too.
Yeah. So if I turn the arms in the right way, see, there's an arm.
You just leave it like that,
Yeah.
just pin it at the top.
I've done that with clips before, so you know.
It's so good. The colour is so nice.
Oh, it's inside out. See, we could just say done. So yeah, we're nearly there.
Yay!
Redford. So yeah, the next thing to do on this after that is these are raw cuffs at the moment, so they do actually have a knitted rib on there, and also obviously I have to pick up and knit a rib on the.
But the bottom is
collar.
left raw, right?
The bottom is
It's
left
got,
raw.
It's got a couple of...
There's a couple of rounds of garter at the bottom
Yeah.
to stop it.
But
from...
you could actually fold those in and pick up into that garter.
Yeah, if I feel it's a little bit on the short side.
It won't be though. It will
Yeah.
block a little and then it'll be perfect.
Or if it looks too weird.
I don't think it looks weird.
Yeah, so.
Because it kind of goes with the seam that you can see. I mean, Julie
I know,
Hoover
right?
is a nutter, but making you do all those seams, but she knows how to design a pattern.
She sure does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Julie Hoover too. So Redford, Julie Hoover. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern, knit in Rebel Light.
Yeah, and this beautiful reddish brown.
It's very light. Like it's very like it's almost. There's no weight to this jersey
It just
at all.
makes me
hardly.
want to knit everything in
So-
Rebel Light, and we have so much of it that we could just spend a lot of time knitting in this yarn.
So it's also what I knit colour work in as well. So
Yeah,
But
it
it's
makes
just
amazing colour work.
So yeah, that's Troutbeck, same as Troutbeck, but Troutbeck obviously was 2 layers, so it was a little bit heavier.
If you love Shetland, the idea of Shetland colour work, or Fair Isle colour work, and want to use Shetland yarn, but you can't afford it, then, or if you prefer to use New Zealand yarns, then Rebel Light is the business.
Yeah. and
Beautiful colours.
You saw the die cast.
Very consistent colour though, like perfect. Like if you get a batch, you know every part of it is going to be the same colour, very consistently dyed.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go past it.
No, it's great. Love it. So yeah, that was my whips. I'm officially out of whips now. But,
I've got tons more.
Look, I managed to do the live trial though. That's my first live trial.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
It's a bit stressful, guys, doing this. It's like disrobing on camera. It's a bit weird. Okay, what else have I got? I have, my main whip, the thing that I've been kind of smashing through is the Simple Sweater by Tin Can Knits. So this is a fingering weight pattern. I'm knitting this in Cecia Mistral, which is an Italian yarn, and it's superwash, so it's quite heavy compared to what you just held up.
Yep.
And obviously knit in black. It has a really nice do you want to hold the other side? A really nice pattern that you probably can't see, but there's like the increases in the yoke create a really nice pattern, just very subtle, which I really, really love. So I've just picked up this sleeve and I'm just about to start on that. So that will be my, I should be able to get a sleeve done maybe this evening, I reckon.
Right.
Or maybe tomorrow.
So this will be finished next time?
Yeah, it should be. Oh, I hope so. I want to be able to wear it. I cast it on so I could wear it in the kind of summer, autumn period. Yeah, just a good staple, plain black jumper for everyday wear. So I'm really loving this knit. And it's knit up so fast. Normally I start complaining about kind of mid-chest.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Once I get to sleeve separation, I knit like 3 rows. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever.
Yeah, this is like the opposite. I mean, if it would almost be like not complaining that it's going so quickly, but
yeah, I know. It's like
it's
I don't
like,
want it to
this
be
is
over.
going fast. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, absolutely loving it. So that's my main whip at the moment, and then yarn everywhere now. What's my other whip? Oh, I do still have. I've been just chugging away at my Musselburgh, just so you can see an update on that. So yeah, I've been putting some rows on that. I think I'm over halfway, but I don't know. I think I'm not far from the other end where I start decreasing. I actually need to measure it to find out.
right.
I just like picking it up and I'm just knit. I need to actually look at where I'm up to on it.
I foresee some frogging in your future if you take that approach all the time.
I think I'm okay so far.
No,
yeah,
that's
but
good.
I should measure it. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
So I think, is that all of our whips?
I think it is. I don't have any more.
Yeah, we've done well.
Yeah, I think
I think it's the first show where you have got a finished object and I don't.
I know, and the thing is too, I think Eagle Collar is going to become a whip next time, because I should have enough feathers completed that I can actually assemble one of the rings of feathers.
Mm.
So we can try that on and see what that looks like.
That sounds super exciting.
Yeah. Okay, so next step. What are we planning to do next?
Oh yeah, do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Once I've finished
Our future plans haven't changed, by the way.
No.
We're just going to talk about the same stuff we always talk about.
In case you're new here and haven't seen the last episode.
But it's the only thing that keeps us going. It's like, when I finish this, I can start the next thing.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. It's like I'm right into the end game of Sheshader and Redford now. So those very hopefully, fingers crossed, will become finished objects shortly. Then there's just my main whip will become Eagle Collar. And so just one whip's a little bit boring, so I'd like to cast something else on, and I really, really, really want to get into Glenesk by Alice. Oh no, is that sort of Jade Starmore? Not Alice Starmore, Jade Starmore. So I'll put a picture of Glenesk up here to refresh your memories of it.
You probably already have.
Yeah, yeah, but there's a yarn kit that I have, which I need to spin up and
Beautiful
actually cast it on. Yes, I'm really looking forward to that. So
yay!
So that's
I'm
that's
looking
really.
forward to that scene. Will you swatch that first? Oh, Stephen!
I don't know if
Stephen!
No, but the thing
what
is.
if it's not right?
But I've kind of swatched it already because it's the same yarn as I've been using for all of the other colourwork patterns.
So is it the same gauge?
It's the same. Well, it is. It's the same needles. Everything seems to be on 3.25mm needles, which is exactly the same gauge as this.
Okay, and that's on gauge.
So I think I swatched it.
You're so bad.
But we'll see how we go. If it starts to look a bit funky, well then obviously yes I will. So.
But you won't.
No, I might.
That means no.
Definitely might.
Definitely might. Funny.
Yeah. So
okay,
Glenesk.
well, unlike Stephen, and this wasn't a segue into saying how perfect I am, but
you've got a swatch.
I did do a swatch. I did it a wee while ago. I actually did a couple of swatches for the Vegr vest, which is the next thing I plan on knitting. And honestly, it's all I can do to not cast this on because I just want to get into it until I found out it was steeked. In the last show I had a look at the pattern and I was like, how do you actually knit it? Because it's got open sides, and then realised it was steeked, and after my trauma of the other steek falling apart, now I'm worried, but it'll be fine because I'll just sew it. I'm just going to
worst case scenario, just sew it. Yeah,
I'm not going to muck around. I'm actually just going to sew it.
Yeah, well you might not even need to.
No, I'm just going to sew it because that's what I feel comfortable with. So I'm just gonna do it.
All right.
Anyway, so although this yarn is stickier, I would say, than the...
Oh, it's definitely got more of a halo on it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I feel like it is stickier than the other one. Anyway, so this is the swatch I did for Vegr. And when I did it, I was thinking about whether I wanted to have the yellow as the background colour or the white as the background colour. And I kind of said, oh, what do you guys think? And a few people said they prefer the yellow. But because I don't listen to anyone about anything. No, never. I prefer the white. When I was a kid, I had a knitted jumper my grandmother knitted for me, and it was kind of in these colours. And every time I look at these colours, they just make me happy because I really love this garment. It was actually a vest as well. And I just really love the idea of owning something that reminds me of that. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to knit in these colours, which I did show on the show last episode, but here they are. So I'm super excited to cast those on. The Vegr Vestas by Ella Gordon, and it's from the Shetland Wool Week annual from last year. Which I picked up when I was in Shetland, and I've just been, honestly, I was looking at the pattern on the way home, and I was just like, I just want to cast this on right now. And
that's how I feel about the Glenesk, I know.
And now it's February and I still haven't cast it on. Yeah, so, and that was last October, so I'm super keen to get started on that, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Yeah. And yeah, we've got a knitting weekend coming up.
Oh, our weekend away.
Our weekend away.
Oh, yeah, our knitting. Made it sound like we're going on a knitting retreat.
No.
It's just the two of us going on a knitting retreat by ourselves.
Yeah, we're going to go somewhere that's really picturesque and then hide up in a hotel room.
So we're going to a golf resort. My brother very kindly gave us a 2-night stay at a golf resort because I helped him out doing some stuff. And it's like hour's drive from here. So not very far, which is great. Easy to get to. And has just down the road has a spa. So we can go to like hot pools and spa and good food. And so we've got 2 nights next weekend. So we'll just bring all of our whips.
Yep.
And spend all of our time in this golf resort and our hotel room knitting.
Yeah, not playing golf.
There will be no golf. Neither of us are golfers or really much for the outdoors. No. Although I think it would be nice to go for some walks.
Yeah.
We'll bring our camera and we'll maybe take some footage, and if it's any good, we're not very good at doing that, but
we'll throw it on the end of the next episode.
We can put it on. We can show you where we've been in the next episode. But both really looking forward to that, I think, aren't we?
It's going to be a nice mini break.
Yeah, really good to get away. Hopefully the weather will be good, but actually it doesn't really matter if it's not. We don't have any expectation of that.
No,
if it's just indoors knitting.
No, so future plans, make good progress.
Yes, the idea is that we should have all of these whips as FOs in the next episode. Not that we're stressing about that, because it's about the journey, and I am learning to love slow knitting. I'm enjoying a little bit of that. I mean, maybe not so much the Seaton, but but that's one of my goals this year, is to do a little bit more slow knitting, and knitting colour work and cables and lace just slows me down a little bit, which, it's good for you to do that every now and again.
Yeah. And what have you been watching?
Oh, yeah, so this is my new segment that I wanted to do.
And the new segment, remind.
Stephen doesn't really watch any knitting podcasts, but I watch tons, so I just wanted
to
odd
one.
Talk. Yeah. So I wanted to just mention a couple. So last time I talked about Lupine, Lana from Lupine's podcast, but I couldn't remember what it was called. So her company is the Black Cat Knit Co. And her podcast is Thank You for Knitting. And I really love it. She's just got a really nice manner, and she knits so many things, and her socks are inspiring. It just, every time I watch an episode, I want to knit a sock. I don't, but I want to. And then also, I've written them down. Inni Knits, who's Amy. So she's, it's New England Knits. She lives in the United States. And the reason I love her is that she's she explains everything in so much detail. Like halfway through explaining something to you guys about anything I'm talking about, I get bored and I want to move on, or I forget half of the things I was going to say. But she's very methodical, very clear, goes through everything in detail, and I really like that. She does really good pattern reviews, really good product reviews. She's just got a new episode, which is a review of the book Making Memories, which is a really cute book by Claudia Quintanilla. So really worth a view if you're looking for a new podcast and you haven't heard of her. And then the other one is Ali Makes Everything. So she's only been going for a year. I've been watching her since she started. She's Canadian, and she kind of has a focus on. She's a newish knitter and has a focus on knitting sustainably, not gathering a large stash, being mindful about how much everything costs that she knits. So she gives a cost breakdown of everything she knits, including the pattern and the yarn and the time. And she also does a per wear cost for her jumpers.
Right.
So she
it's very methodical.
Tracks in a spreadsheet how often she wears all her knits, and then shows what the ongoing cost is per wear of any of her garments. So that's kind of a bit extra.
Yeah.
She is a bit extra. But I really love her, and she has she's also a really big reader, and so she often will do a little segment on what she's reading at the end of her show as well. So just a bit of a good all-rounder. And her latest episode is really interesting. She does a breakdown of what it's like to be on YouTube and be monetized on YouTube, and she does a breakdown of her whole last year and how much each of her videos earned and how much they cost in terms of the yarn she purchased, and then what her break even is, like what her profit is from the year. And she did actually make money. If she just counted her yarn and not her time, then the amount she spent on her knitting was less than the amount she earned based on her channel subs and views. So that was cool. I mean, that's not our goal, but it was really interesting to see how that breaks down. And she has a really good episode, if you go back through her catalogue, on a bunch of knitting podcasts, other YouTubes that are knitting, YouTubers. And I picked up a few watching that, so I recommend you viewing that one if you're looking for other knitting podcasters. Stephen said I shouldn't say that because you should only watch us, but we don't expect you to be monogamous.
No.
But so I sat there with a pen and paper watching that episode and wrote them all down and then looked them all up. It was really good.
No,
I've got tons of new ones.
Yeah, you're quite prolific when it comes to watching. So Bebe will often sit in a chair with the iPad and just watch podcast after podcast, and while I don't know the podcasters, I learn to know their voices. So I can kind of tell who she's watching by what the voice sounds like rather than what the podcast name actually is. So.
Yeah, it keeps me entertained. I like to be able to do two things at once. I'll either listen to podcasts on like Apple Podcasts or watch the YouTube ones. It's relaxing and enjoyable for me. It kind of helps to calm my mind and switch my brain off after a long day's work.
Right.
Okay, so I think that's it.
It does bring us to the end of the list anyway.
Yeah.
No other surprise additions?
Not this week.
No, so do, if you are interested, hang about. There's probably about 2 minutes of video coming up just on seeing me cut yarn and as I steeked Sheshader. And yeah.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time after we've been on holiday and all the things.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a like if you like. If you like. Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much, and thanks for watching. So,
Ka kite anō.
goodbye.